Roadside emergency kits, something you don't think about until you need it, but today we might as well just cover it. Hello and welcome back to Gears and Tech. We've all been there before. You go out to start your car, you get nothing. All of a sudden, you're stuck at the mercy of a good Samaritan who hopefully has some jumper cables and is willing to boost your car. But as cars get newer and newer, more and more people are very scared to offer a jump start. That's because a lot of manufacturers actually recommend not boosting other people's cars because it can cause issues with the electronics in your car after you helped that poor soul. So with more and more people unwilling to help you out for whatever reason, it's not their fault. They just want to protect their investment. I'm sure they're really nice people, but that leaves you stuck waiting for a tow truck or waiting for your friend or your parents or your wife or your husband or your girlfriend or somebody to come and help jumpstart your car. That can all be avoided with a properly selected booster pack. So today we're going to talk about one such jumper pack, and we're going to cover some of the things that you should be looking for in a booster pack that you want to carry for emergency situations. And today the one that we're going to look at is this one by Wolfbox. It is a 3,000 amp booster pack that also has a built-in air compressor. But we're not going to just look at the specs and call it a day. I'm actually going to go outside in the freezing Canadian cold and try to jumpstart my drift car, which has had a frozen battery for the last 3 months. So we'll actually put this thing to the test. But first, we need to see what's inside this box and talk about the features. Some plastic. Okay, now this has a really cool carry bag, which is unexpected. It keeps it all tight and nicely stowed away in your car. Very small, neat package. Oh my goodness, now everything's falling out. We've got airbag kit, user manual, which is actually thicker than I expected. And when we look at it, it's got lots of picture diagrams that say, here's what this is, here's how you're going to use it. Most of these are pretty easy to understand, but if you've got questions, looks like a pretty good user manual. These are the jumper cables with reverse polarity protection and a boost button. Very short, but you don't need long cables because the booster pack's going to be right there anyway. USB-C to USB-C cord. Now this is going to be used to charge the unit as well, which we'll cover shortly. It's about 4 feet long, so it's not a short cable, which is good. This is a detachable air compressor, and then the unit itself obviously is going to be in here. Whoa. Now, this is actually a really nice looking unit. I do like it's small, it's sleek, it's got really good descriptions of what everything is. So for example, this says jumper cables. So you pop that off. When you're ready to use your jumper cables, you plug this in like that. Oh, look at that. It even turns on and says, whoa, I'm not trying to pump anything with air right now, but there's our jumper box. It's ready to go. Let's unplug that and explore some of the other connectors real quick. On the side just says Wolfbox. Bottom, there's nothing. Other side, Wolfbox and the jumper cable input. On the front, there's a couple different things here. So number one, there's the USB and USB-C port. So this will provide charging for your cell phone or other USB powered devices, but also charges through this USB-C port. So that's what this cable right here was for, because this actually charges just like your regular cell phone. So for me, what I do is plug this guy in like this, and then I've got a cigarette plug adapter that works for a cell phone, and I have this in my car charging all the time. That way it's always ready to go. Now this has a lithium ion battery built in, so it will actually hold a charge over time. So once you charge it fully, you could put it back in that case, stow it away somewhere, and it should always be charged and ready to go for a long time. No need to keep it plugged in all of the time like you would with like a lead acid charger. But for me, I prefer to leave it plugged in all the time because this will charge and then discharge and then top up as it needs to, so I know for sure it's always ready to go. Also on the top, there's a barrel port, 15 volts at 10 amps. There's no cable that comes that supports that, and this is an output power. So this would be good for someone who uses a barrel to cigarette plug adapter. If they wanted to run peripherals off of this thing, it outputs 15 volts. So that's a lot of juice coming out of this box. And then this little guy here is the tire pump, which we go like this. And now we've also got our emergency tire inflator. So yes, this becomes a complete DIY self-rescue kit. It includes the jumper pack, cell phone charger, so that if you're off somewhere and you don't have power, your battery is dead and your car won't start, this will charge your cell phone all the way back up before you start hiking through the woods trying to find somebody who can help you or cell phone service. There's also a light on the front here, which we turn it on and then we push this button and it creates a really good floodlight. Now my studio lights are a little bit too bright for you to see. Pretty cool. And it has multiple modes here, as you can see. So there's always on. I'm not going to blind the camera completely. There's fast blink, and there's slow blink, and there's off. That is blinking SOS. That's awesome. So it's got an SOS mode, so you can just set it up like this, point it at the sky or wherever, and if a plane's flying by, they'll see the SOS signal and they'll know to come rescue you. That's really cool. Shut that off. One thing else I noticed, so there's a rubber pad here, so when it's standing up, it doesn't want to move, which is good. When you put it on the side, it's pretty grippy too. I think it's just catching on that guy. Now let's talk about the air compressor component. I like this because you simply set the pressure that you want to pump your tires to. So we can say, 32 PSI, and then we push, and then we push the power button, and that starts putting air out there, and it will pump until it's at the preset pressure, and then it shuts off. The beauty of this is, especially if it's cold out, you put this on, you turn it on, and then you go sit in your car, which is hopefully running because you boosted it, and you can stay nice and warm while this thing pumps your tires up. So there's no need to sit and babysit it. It's not going to overpressurize, and it works great. Now this is a nice small package, easily stowed and easy to fit in your car without taking a lot of space up. Now, what are some things that you look for in a booster pack? Number one, for me, size. How convenient is it and how small is it? Number two, I like to have an all-in-one solution. I was looking for one that specifically had the air pump and the booster pack. Certainly there are smaller booster packs that have just the booster pack function, but how often do you also have a flat tire? How often do you also wish you had a flashlight or a way to broadcast SOS? How often do you wish you had a way to charge a cell phone or even a laptop in a pinch off of that built-in battery pack? This is a very small form factor for all of the convenience that it adds. Plus, keep in mind, no matter how big your booster pack is, you're going to have these battery cables that need to be stowed somewhere anyway, and there's a certain size that those are anyway, so it's not much bigger than this pack. So they've hit the sweet spot with form and function and everything that you need and nothing that you don't need. Now, the other very important thing is the cold cranking amps that it can provide. A lot of the smaller, cheaper units don't support enough cold cranking amps to actually boost a car that's really, really cold. So up here in Canada, it gets cold. It's currently minus 20 degrees Celsius outside. So even if you have a small car with a small engine, it actually needs a lot more power to jumpstart when it gets cold, because that engine doesn't want to turn over. So you definitely don't want to get a small light car or motorcycle rated booster pack, because it won't actually do what you need it to do. It can boost up to an 8-liter gas engine or a 6-liter diesel engine and everything below that. So your car, your SUV, your motorcycle, your moped, your station wagon, all the way up to a lot of those big rigs, as long as your engine is up to only about 8 liters. Now, here's the deal. The colder it gets, the less it can boost. So when you get one like this that can support up to an 8-liter engine, when you're only running around with a 2.5 or a 3-liter, this will then boost that in minus 20, minus 30, minus 40. Today we're going to test jump starting my 2.5-liter turbocharged Subaru engine in minus 20. So this will be a great test for it. And I actually have 2 flat tires, so I'll test how well it fills up those tires as well, all on one charge. Now a couple other specs for those of you who are trying to compare this one versus something else. As we said, it's a 3000 amp jump starter. The tire inflator will do up to 160 PSI. That helps it actually fill your tires up faster when they're low because it can pump more air out quickly. And then as it gets closer to the target pressure that you've set it to, it'll slow down a little bit. It can fill your sedan tires up to about 25 times, an SUV tire roughly 18 times, and a full-size pickup truck tire around 6 times. We looked at that light, which puts out 400 lumens of brightness, and it's got a diffuser, so it actually makes it more of like a floodlight, so you can see the whole working area rather than a spotlight like what your cell phone flashlight would do. And if your cell phone's dead, this thing's going to charge that using the built-in battery bank, which has 16,000 milliamp hours of power that can charge your laptop, your cell phone, whatever, or used for boosting cars and inflating tires. When it becomes time to charge it, it does support up to 65 watts of fast charging. It'll do that both ways. So it'll recharge itself at 65 watts, but it also can recharge USB devices through the USB-C port at up to 65 watts. Don't forget this massive 3.8-inch dual display screen, which gives you all the information you're looking for, including the target pressure, the actual pressure, and it'll cycle through your inflation modes. Right now we're on SUV. There's motorcycle, there's bicycle, there's basketball, and then back to manual mode. So it automatically knows, hey, we'll just pump your tires up to 36 if it's an SUV, 31 if you're a motorcycle, 44 for a bicycle, and roughly 9 for your sports equipment and that sort of thing. So if you're not really sure what to pump to and you don't know how to check your tires, just pick that icon. It'll pick a number that's relatively safe. I know a lot of people are going to freak out and say, never inflate your tires more than 32 or check the door to see what you should be pumping to. But I mean, come on, this is pretty safe. One other thing that's really cool, the jumper cables themselves, you won't be able to see it very well, but there's actually a light here. If you hook it up wrong or backwards, it'll actually light up and say reverse. And if it's right, it'll light up green and say correct. So that way you know without a doubt that you've actually hooked this up right. And I find these days sometimes it can be confusing, and maybe not everybody had someone around who showed them how to boost a car. So this will show you really easily if you've done it right or wrong. We're actually going to take it outside real quick and we're going to test it. So I'll show you how to hook it up so that you guys can confirm what you already knew or learn something new today. Now, if you did want one of these, they're going to cost you around $140. Sometimes there's sales on Amazon. I will put a link in the description where you can grab this one. And I'll also say I've tested a number of different booster inflator packs like this, and this one is actually one of the better ones that I've used, mostly because of the form factor and the convenience. Like a lot of these other ones that I've used, they're bigger, they're more cumbersome, but they don't offer any more features, and in fact the boost capabilities are much lower. So now let's run out to the car, try and jump start it and fill those tires up and see how this thing actually performs. Now it's freezing cold. Bentley's super happy. There you can see he loves coming to help work on cars. He loves going out back here. So we're gonna go over here to the drift car. We're gonna go over here, shake some of the snow off of the drift car, and I know it doesn't start. The battery is cold and frozen, so this will be the ultimate test of this thing to see if it works. And there's the drift car right there, covered in snow. Put that right there and get this hood popped open. So this is our totally dead engine. This is a stock 2.5 liter with a crazy turbo bolted on it. Sounds awesome. We're gonna just stick this guy on here, and it's quite simple. You put the black on the black, like that, and the red on the red, like that. Now there is a little button on here, right here. You need to push that button to engage the remote start And then that should be everything that we need to do to boost this thing, except that I got to climb in here. And I told you guys the tires are flat, so I can't actually open my door and get in. So I've got to climb in through the back seat to try and get this thing started. So let's give that a go now. So I'll stick the key in. It's minus 25 degrees Celsius out here. Let's try this again. I need more power. Okay, so this is kind of disappointing, but not the Wolfbox's problem. So as you can see, I've hooked my Dodge Ram truck up to this thing with some jumper cables, and even that can't get this going. It is totally flooded now. I can smell it. This thing doesn't want to start on a good day, but what I can tell you is that this thing is a champ. It gave way more juice than these jumper cables do, and this battery is totally pooched and frozen, so it's taking all the power it can get. So it's not the Wolfbox's fault, and under normal circumstances this would totally start a car that just had a dead battery, not a dead broken Subaru, which is what this is. So I don't want to give you guys a bad impression on this. What I can say is I've tried other jump boxes on this thing and it kills them way faster. So this thing's given as much juice as it says that it will. It's just not going to help me in this situation, but it will probably help you guys. You're not going to be in this extreme environment. I'm freezing cold. I'm going to head back to the studio. And that's it. This thing handled it very, very easily, and it's my go-to emergency pack, which I'm going to throw into my truck so that I've got it all the time with me. Again, if you would like something like this, I will put a link in the description where you can pick one up for yourself. Be sure to catch us on the next video. Hey, thanks for watching all the way to the end of this video. We hope you enjoy the content in this video, and we'd love to have you come back. Consider subscribing to the channel if you haven't already. And for those subscribers who are looking for that extra special thing that you can do to support this channel, consider joining our members group. That's where we're building this community, the Gears and Tech community, where we can all enjoy content together. You'll get special perks, which we'd love for you to check out by clicking the link down below. For those of you who are just happy to watch the video, that's okay too. You can check out some of our other content right over here, where we've got some previous videos that have already been uploaded and enjoyed by many of our viewers already. We do hope to see you again. This has been Gears and Tech. Have a great day.